Before the first rooster crowed, Ikemefuna was already awake. The sky was still dark, and the city lay in a soft, uneasy silence. Only the distant hum of a generator and the occasional bark of a dog disturbed the quiet. He sat on the edge of the bed and looked at his family. Adi slept lightly, one arm resting protectively over their daughter, Chika. Obinna lay on his back, mouth slightly open, breathing deeply like a child with no worries. Ikemefuna felt a knot form in his throat. He stood, washed his face, and dressed quietly. Then he reached into his pocket and touched the photograph of the schoolteacher. It was still there, like a silent witness. As he turned to leave, Adi's voice came softly from the darkness. "You are going now?" He froze. "Yes." She sat up. Her eyes were tired, but steady. "Come here," she said. He walked back to the bed. She held his hands tightly. "Whatever happens there, speak the truth," she whispered. "Truth may be painful, but lies are poison." He nodded. She continued, "My mother used to say, a man who accepts his wrongs is already halfway to forgiveness." Ikemefuna swallowed hard. "If I don't come back?" Adi shook her head. "Do not speak like that. Go. Face your past. The rest is in God's hands." He bent down and kissed the children's foreheads. Then he looked at Adi's one last time. "Thank you," he said. She smiled faintly. "Come back to us." Outside, the morning air was cool. Chibuzo stood by the roadside, leaning against an old bus. The engine was already running. "You are ready," Chibuzo said. Ikemefuna nodded. They climbed into the bus. The driver, a heavy-set man chewing cola nuts, barely glanced at them before pulling onto the road. As the city slowly disappeared behind them, Ikemefuna felt as if he were traveling not just across distance, but through time. The buildings became fewer. The roads grew rougher. Trees replaced concrete walls. They drove in silence for a long time. Finally, Chibuzo spoke. "Why did you run that night?" Ikemefuna looked out the window. "I was afraid. Afraid of being caught." "Yes, and afraid of what I had become." Chibuzo nodded slowly. "I was only a boy," Ikemefuna continued. "I thought money was the answer to everything. But after that night, every coin felt like it was covered in blood." Chibuzo's eyes remained on the road ahead. "My brother was not supposed to travel that day," he said. "He had a fever. My mother begged him to stay home." Ikemefuna closed his eyes. But he said the children in his class needed him. Exams were coming. He said a teacher must not abandon his pupils. A deep silence followed. The bus rattled over potholes. Dust rose behind them like a long, brown tail. After a while, they stopped at a roadside stall. Women sold akara and pap. The smell of frying oil filled the air. Chibuzo bought 2 portions and handed one to Ikemefuna. "Eat," he said. Ikemefuna shook his head. "I am not hungry." Chibuzo sat beside him. "My brother used to say, a man cannot face judgment on an empty stomach." Ikemefuna almost smiled. He took the food and ate slowly. The warm pap settled his nerves a little. As they returned to the bus, Ikemefuna noticed an old man sitting under a tree, carving a piece of wood. The man looked up and said, "Travel safely. The road remembers every foot that walks on it." Ikemefuna felt a shiver. Back on the bus, he asked, "Does your mother know I am coming?" Chibuzo nodded. "Yes." "What did she say?" "She cried. Then she said, 'Let him come. The truth is better than endless guessing.'" Ikemefuna's heart pounded. "Does she hate me?" Chibuzo was quiet for a long time. Finally, he said, "My mother believes anger is like holding hot charcoal. You only burn your own hand." They drove on. By midday, The bus turned off the main road onto a dusty path. The air smelled of dry grass and wood smoke. Small huts appeared among the trees. Ikemefuna's chest tightened. He recognized the place. The same road. The same bushes. The same bend where the logs had been placed that night. "Stop here," Chibuzo told the driver. They stepped down. The bus roared away, leaving them in a cloud of dust. For a moment, Ikemefuna could not move. The trees looked taller than he remembered. The road seemed narrower. But the memories, they were as sharp as fresh wounds. "This is where it happened," he whispered. Chibuzo nodded. They walked slowly along the path. Birds chirped overhead, unaware of the weight in the air. Soon, they reached the village square. A large iroko tree stood at the center, its branches stretching like ancient arms over the land. Under the tree, elders sat on wooden stools. Men and women gathered around. Children peeked from behind their mothers' wrappers. As Ikemefuna stepped into the square, murmurs spread through the crowd. "That is him. He has come back. The boy who ran." Ikemefuna felt their eyes on him like fire. His legs trembled, but he kept walking. Chibuzo led him to the center of the square. An old man with a white beard stood up. His voice was deep and calm. "You have returned to the place where your past still breathes," the elder said. "Do you come as a stranger, or as the boy we once knew?" Ikemefuna swallowed. "My name is Ikemefuna now," he said. "But I was once called Afam." The crowd murmured louder. The elder nodded slowly. "Then speak, Afam. The earth is listening. The spirits are listening. And the truth is waiting." Ikemefuna felt his heart pound like a drum. The moment he had feared for years had finally arrived. The village square was silent except for the rustling leaves of the iroko tree. Even the birds seemed to pause, as if they too were waiting for the truth. Ikemefuna, Afam, stood in the center, surrounded by faces from a life he thought he had left behind forever. Some faces were familiar. Others were older, lined with time. But the eyes were the same, watching, judging, remembering. The elder with the white beard leaned forward slightly. "Speak," he said. "Let your words carry the weight of your heart." Afam took a deep breath. His throat felt dry, but he forced himself to talk. "Many years ago," he began, "I was a foolish boy. I was hungry. Angry. I thought the world had forgotten me." He paused, glancing at the ground. "I joined a group of boys who robbed travelers. At first, we only took money. We told ourselves it was not a big crime. We said the rich would not feel it." The villagers listened without interruption. "But one night," he continued, his voice trembling, "we stopped a man on this very road. A school teacher. He begged us to let him go. He said his children were waiting." A low murmur spread through the crowd. Afam's eyes filled with tears. One of the boys stabbed him. "I did not hold the knife. But I was there. I did nothing to stop it. And when he fell, I ran." He wiped his face with his palm. "I ran from the village. I ran from my name. I ran from my guilt. I became Ikemefuna in the city. I worked as a mechanic. I married. I had children. I tried to live a good life." He looked up at the elders. "But every night, I saw his face. I heard his voice. I knew the truth had not forgotten me." Silence filled the square. Then the white-bearded elder spoke again. "Do you accept that you were part of the crime that took his life?" Afam nodded slowly. "Yes. I accept it." "Do you regret your actions?" "Yes. Every day." The elder turned his gaze toward the crowd. "Where is the mother of the dead man?" A path opened among the villagers. An old woman, bent with age, stepped forward. Her wrapper was faded, and her eyes were heavy with years of sorrow. Afam felt his knees weaken. This was the mother of the man who died because of that night. She stopped a few steps away from him and studied his face. "So," she said softly, "you are the boy who ran." Afam could not meet her eyes. "Yes, Mama." She was silent for a long moment. "My son was a good man," she said. "He loved his work. He loved his daughters. When they told me he was dead, I thought my own heart would stop." Afam's shoulders shook. "I have carried that pain for many years," she continued. "I have asked the spirits why. I have asked the earth why. But no one answered." She took a slow step closer. "Today, you have come back. Not with chains on your hands, but with truth in your mouth. That is not a small thing." The villagers watched, tense and quiet. The elder cleared his throat. "According to our customs, a life taken unjustly demands balance. But balance is not always blood for blood." He looked at Afam. "You have lived many years in hiding. But now the truth stands in the sun. The question is this: what will you give to restore what was broken?" Afam lifted his head. "I will do whatever the elders decide," he said. "If my life must pay for it, I will not run again." A ripple moved through the crowd. The old woman raised her hand. "No," she said firmly. Everyone turned to her. "I have buried one son. I will not ask the earth to swallow another." She looked at Afam. "My son's daughters are grown now. One of them still cannot finish school because we had no money. The other struggles to feed her own children." Afam's heart tightened. The old woman continued, "If you truly regret what happened, then help the life that was left behind. That is the justice I want." The elder nodded slowly. "The mother has spoken. And in our land, the tears of a mother carry the weight of truth." He turned to Afam. "You will not be killed. But you will carry a responsibility. Every year, you will support the family of the man who died. You will help educate his grandchildren. You will return here whenever the elders call you." Afam felt tears run freely down his face. "Yes," he whispered. "I accept." The elder raised his staff. "Then let it be known, the past has spoken, and the truth has answered. The boy who ran has returned as a man who stands." The villagers murmured in agreement. The old woman stepped forward again. She placed her hand gently on Afam's head. "Do not waste the second life you were given," she said. Afam dropped to his knees. "Thank you, Mama," he whispered. She turned and walked back into the crowd. The meeting ended slowly. People began to disperse. Some looked at Afam with sympathy. Others with caution. But the anger in their eyes had softened. Chibuzo approached him. "It is finished," he said. Afam nodded. "No. It is just beginning." Later that evening, as the sun dipped low and painted the sky with gold, Afam stood alone by the roadside where everything had changed years ago. The air was quiet. He closed his eyes and whispered, "I will not run anymore." The wind moved gently through the trees, like a soft answer. In the distance, the road stretched toward the city, toward his family, his workshop, and the life he would now live with honesty. Because the elders always said, when truth finally stands in the sun, even the longest shadow must bow. Thank you for watching and supporting this channel. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Hit the bell button for more videos.